The houses in astrology tell a successive and developmental story about you and the life that you form around yourself, right? So in some houses, we'll talk about other people, other things, other places, but this is about the first house, which is solely about you. So the first house is your entrance into the world. It's all about your rising sign, the sign that was on the horizon when you were born. Basically, it is the most tailored to you, and no matter what kind of house system you're using, your rising sign is an indicator of how it is set up and where it starts. So your rising sign, or the sign on your first house, some house systems you might have more than one, but the one that starts it is a clear character identifier. These are characteristics you can look for either your body, your physical appearance, your personality, the way you experience the sense of vitality. Your first house can speak to really anything that relates to you in that way. It is specific to you in a way that is not filtered through anyone else, right? It's not how you're perceived, it's who you are. It can be how you're perceived. And any planets that you have in the first house are likely to be very prominent in your personality or in the way that you appear. You might really feel them or identify with them or express them. They might be very visible to other people in that way. And this can also be true of any planets that transit your first house. You might really feel those transits. You might really display the energies of those transits. So the sign on your first house is speaking a lot to how you express yourself and who you are. This in some ways is going to be the most significant house. It's not in every single case, but in most cases. And it's speaking very, very specifically to you. This is what we would call an angular house, which means it is foundational to your life. It is the joy of Mercury. So if you have the planet Mercury there, it's Mercury's favorite place to be because it's all about curiosity and taking in information for the first time and learning new things and the things that are right near us and what happens with immediacy, you know? And so when we want to understand the first house, we can start by looking at the sign on the first house for some characteristics about how we might express, how we might appear, how we might behave. You can look to any placements or planets that are located in your first house for some more information about what's at play there, what kind of energies are interacting, what kind of energies are you expressing and displaying in that way. And we can look to any aspects that might be made by your first house or any other planets that are making aspects to your ascendant, for example, for just like a coloration on their relationship with the rest of your chart. But one of the most important things to look at is the planet that rules your ascendant, that rules your first house. And this is sometimes going to be called your chart ruler, right? So you can look to this planet ruling your ascendant and ruling your first house as an indicator of how you can get more in touch with you, right? So the location, the conditions of that planet, the house that it's in, we'll talk about those houses later, but whatever themes those are lighting up are important when it comes to relating to yourself and to exploring yourself. And the planet itself will also give information about what's at play there, right? So if it's Venus, we're looking more at connections and relationships and values and beauty. If it's Saturn, we're looking more at responsibilities and structure, limitations, sometimes constraints, but also just like what we're building from the ground up to last. So depending on what the planet is, we might be looking at different things in this area, but your ruling planet will say a lot about how you express yourself and how you express that first house energy. So welcome to the first house. If you have any questions, please let me know, and the second house is up next.